welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a very long overdue video. I do apologize, but I'm finally getting to it. Oh my goodness, I have no excuses. Anyways, if you guys like ranking videos, then just keep watching. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. My name is KARENHARRIS. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on my channel. This is year 3 of me filming ranking videos. So every month I film a ranking video talking about all of the palettes I tried in the previous month, giving you guys my thoughts, reviews, ranking them in order of my least favorite to most favorite palette. And I really enjoy doing that video, so I plan on continuing it in the year 2022. If you like that kind of content, if you like eyeshadow palettes, if you like tan girl friendly makeup, this is the place for you. Highly recommend subscribing, turning on that bell so you're notified every time I post. And without further blabbering, let's get into it. Okay, I'm really hyped, you guys. Oh my gosh, I literally laid out all the palettes and I was like, I love all of these. This is awful. I hate my life. Why do I have to rank these? Why do I do this to myself? I still need to film my 2021 yearly rankings. If you guys could see my makeup room, I have a pile on this side of my makeup desk of all the palettes I've tried in 2021. I'm actually still pulling them, and I've also realized some of them I've already decluttered, so I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not gonna talk about palettes I don't have with me because, listen, it's already gonna be a long video, and Post-it notes are kind of my best friend when it comes to rankings because I like label everything because otherwise I mess up the order. It's a whole ordeal, okay? I'm still like looking for positive vibes on filming 2021 because I just don't know how, because December alone was hard enough. There's so many good palettes in this video. So I'm gonna stop blabbering and let's get started. So in number 19, I don't think you guys will be too surprised, but I'm putting the Clarity Cosmetics Magic Lamp palette in number 19 spot. I think this isn't a horrible palette. Mine came a little bit broken. The brand did offer to replace the broken shade, but honestly, I've already done my video with this and I just cannot be bothered. So I don't think this is a bad palette. Mine's just really messy and I didn't love the formula. The metallics are pretty nice. They do have a new palette launching in like 2 days as of when I'm filming this video, and I plan on picking that one up because it has their round pans, and I feel like the round pans have a better formula. I don't actually know. I'm not really a clarity expert, so let me know what you think. I think the palette's called a Bloom palette and has a really beautiful color story, like blues and greens and pinks, and I'm really into that. So definitely gonna be picking that up, but I'm ranking that palette at number 19. Now in the 18th spot is these two palettes. I'm just gonna put them together because honestly these are so blah. This is the Botanic collection from Colored Rain. So I did film a video with these, and honestly I don't really know why they did 2 palettes. I feel like this could have easily just been 1 palette because the color stories are very similar. This one called Rose Garden did come shattered, and Colored Rain was so kind and they sent me a new palette as a replacement. I will say I've dealt with Colored Rain's customer service a few times and their customer service is amazing. Like, I'm blown away. The other day I was tracking my Chic collection that they just launched and the tracking wasn't updating, so I emailed them like at probably 6 or 7 a.m. when I was checking my email, and they got back to me right away. I was so impressed. So I will say they have really good customer service. As far as this collection though, I felt like everything else they launched was so much more interesting than the palettes, like the lipsticks, the lip liners, the blushes, all of that I'm so happy with, but this was kind of a meh in my very humble opinion. Okay, in 17th place is this little Viseart palette. This is the Paris Etole palette. I'm not really usually into cool tone color stories like this, but I just thought this color story was so beautiful and I did end up picking this up. It's a nice palette. It's very teeny tiny, and honestly the reason it's ranking at number 17 is because all of the other palettes are so excellent, and it's really hard for this little guy to stand out with some of the other palettes I'm about to show you guys. So in 16th place is the Unearthly palette. This is their Smells Like Holiday Spirit palette. Now, I did do a 3 looks video with 3 of the palettes that came my way in the month of December, and this one I'm ranking lower than the other 2 because I like the color story, but I feel like this formula wasn't the easiest one to work with compared to the other 2 palettes I'm going to be featuring in this video. I did, in the end, really like the eye look that I came up with this palette, but the metallics are very hard pressed, and so I had a really hard time like picking these up with a brush. So just want to give you guys my honest opinion on that. This palette was also sent to me from the brand, just so you guys know. I am an affiliate with Unearthly Cosmetics, so full disclosure, they did send this to me. But it's just not my favorite. I really prefer the other 2 palettes that they launched over the holidays, so can't wait to talk about those with you. Okay, in 15th place, I'm just gonna group these palettes together because I did use them in an eye look. So we have Garnet, we have Turquoise, and we have Citrine. So these are the birthstones of our little family, and I wanted to collect them for funsies. I will say this series has been so good for BH, and I just think the quality of these palettes are really nice. Some are better than others, and I will say the 3 I'm showing you are very nice, and the metallic shades are beautiful. So I think price point, color story, just how kind of creative this whole series was, I feel pretty comfortable ranking this at number 15. Okay, in 14th place is the Juvia's Place Allure palette. Now, I am taking a bit of a break from Juvia's Place with the recent stuff that's happened with them, but I obviously use this palette, and I have Juvia's Place palettes in my collection. I'm not planning on like throwing any of those out because I like the palettes. I really like this palette as well. I like this color story. I like the metallic shades. Is this Juvia's Place's best eyeshadow palette ever? Of course not. I feel like they're kind of releasing palettes as almost like an afterthought. I know there's a lot probably going on behind the scenes because of COVID. I feel like a lot of brands have things in ships that are waiting, or, you know, being held in places all over the world, I'm sure, because of how things are launching. It's like very strange, like the timing of things. But yeah, I feel like this whole series just kind of was an odd launch. Like they launched this palette, and then they launched 2 other palettes with the same name, 2 and 3, like a week or 2 later, which I thought was very strange. But objectively, this is a beautiful color story. So I'm ranking this at number 14. In 13th place is this little cutie from Natasha Denona. This is the mini Biba palette. I will say I actually like this palette more than the full-size Biba palette. I know that I bought the full-size Biba as like my go-to neutral palette, but honestly, I never reach for it. I feel like I have way more interesting neutral eyeshadow palettes in my collection. So if I'm gonna get neutrals, I feel like it almost makes sense to have it in a mini palette because this is really all the variety I need as far as the neutral palette goes. So we're ranking that at number 13. At number 12 is another really interesting mini eyeshadow palette. This is the Pumpkin Spice Quad from Dede Signature. They did send this to me. I am also an affiliate with Dede's. And so this is a gorgeous little color story, kind of similar to the Allure that I just showed you guys from Juvia's Place. But this one does have a beautiful duochrome shade in it, and I just like these 2 colors. Obviously, I love any shade or version of green in a palette. So yeah, I think this is a really powerful little quad. Next, in the 11th spot is one of my favorite color stories from this brand. We've got the Give Me Glow, the Bad Witch Club palette. This is such a stunning color story. I really want to play with this palette more because I feel like I wasn't able to enjoy it enough. These are the metallics. So there's 3 metallics and the rest of the shades are matte eyeshadows, and oh my gosh, I mean, need I say more? How stunning is this? This is why I'm telling you I'm having such a hard time with the December rankings because there were so many good palettes in the month of December. In 10th place is the Beauty Bean and Shroud Cosmetics It's Freaking Bat palette. It took me forever to try this, and I'm not gonna lie, I only tried the matte shades. I didn't try the shimmers in this palette. I definitely plan on doing a full video with this palette at some point. I'll probably throw it into a chatty video, but this palette is now over a year old at this point. So I feel like it's hard to do like a dedicated eyeshadow video on this. I know this is back in stock on Shroud's website, so I will link all the palettes down below. I know she definitely was super overwhelmed by orders, but it sounds like she's finally caught up, and Shroud's also launched some new products. So I'm so happy I bought this. I think this is such a beautiful palette, and I know it's been a while, but still, congratulations to Beauty because she did an amazing job with this palette. Next is the neutral palette of my dreams from Dede Signature. This is the Neutral Wonder palette, and this was also sent to me. So this is the kind of neutral palette I think needs to happen in 2022. She did such a good job because she included some beautiful duochrome shades in this neutral palette. The mattes are really nice and the metallics are stunning. I would say this is like what the Queen of Hearts palette would be if it launched in 2022, if that makes any sense. I was just talking about the Queen of Hearts palette when I was filming a different video, and so that's why it's just like top of mind. But the metallics in this palette are so stunning, and yeah, I think she did a fabulous job with this palette. Okay, in 8th place is the Utopian Dreams palette. Now, this didn't launch in December, but I used it, I think, either at Christmas or my birthday or something, so of course I wanted to rank it. And I ranked the Utopian Dream palette as my favorite Pat McGrath Mothership palette in 2021, so highly recommend checking out that rankings video. People ask me all the time which Mothership palette they should get, and so I finally sat down and I ranked them all because I thought that was an important video, especially because Pat McGrath has a lot of really good sales. So if you guys are ever wondering which one to get, if you want to see swatches of all 9 Mothership palettes, I would highly recommend checking out that video. But I'm ranking this in 8th place, and I mean, it's a beautiful palette. Look at these beautiful flaky duochromes. I love them so much. Okay, so in 7th place, this collection wasn't like the most innovative collection, but I still thought this was incredibly cute. This is the Glamlite and Icy collection. So I have the Blue Raspberry palette, which has some really beautiful metallics. I did film another look with this palette, and that should be coming up here soon. I kind of pre-filmed a bunch of chatty videos, but look at how strong those blue metallics are. If you don't have a monochromatic blue palette in your collection, I mean, I doubt that because you're watching my channel and you guys know how much I love beautiful, colorful eyeshadow palettes. But in case you are on the hunt for a blue palette or a red monochromatic palette, highly recommend Glamlite. They also have a ton of sales. I try to post when they have good deals, and I also have an affiliate code with them. It's KHMAKEUP if you want to save money with your purchase. Next is one of my favorite palettes. Honestly, I would rank this higher, but the competition is very steep. So in 6th place is the Melt Cosmetics Holiday Palette. What is this called again? I forgot the name of the palette. Mariposa, the Amore Mariposa palette. This is what it looks like. Honestly, Melt Cosmetics has such a special place in my heart, specifically this collection, because I ordered this when I was in the hospital waiting for Freya to be born. If you don't know, Freya is my daughter. I love her to pieces, and yeah, I don't think I would ever get rid of this palette because it reminds me of that time we were waiting for her to come. I also love this color story. I love green eyeshadows. If you don't know that about me, you know now, and this row of greens just gets my heart pumping. I would love to do another video with this palette because it's so good, and I've been trying to think of ways to use older palettes in my collection and give them another show on my YouTube channel. I still want to film my melt ranking video. I just have to like sit down and narrow things down a bit. You know, it takes me a long time to rank things. It took me like a whole year to bring myself to rank my Mothership palette. So hopefully we can do that better in 2022. But yeah, I love that Mariposa palette. The packaging's stunning, so that's why it's in 6th place. Now in 5th place is a little palette that packs quite the punch. This is the Silent Night palette by Glamlite. I think they still have some of these palettes available, but I do believe she did say that this is a limited edition palette. So if you're into these, definitely recommend picking them up. Now, the cool thing about this palette is definitely the metallics. There is the most beautiful multi-chrome shadow in this palette, this shade. I think it's called Baubles. I know she's selling them as singles on her website as well, and I definitely have my eye on the new Glamlite palette. It's called the Nocturnal palette that's coming out. I think that's going to be available for pre-order sometime around Valentine's Day. But how gorgeous are those metallics? The mattes are beautiful too. You can do so many beautiful eye looks with that palette. I actually wore that palette on New Year's Eve, so I love it. Gorgeous palette. Cannot wait to see what they do in 2022. Now in 4th place is a palette that I fell in love with very unexpectedly. This is the Unearthly in the Dark palette. This was one of their holiday collections, and I actually purchased this one myself. Now this freaking shade called Illusion is the most beautiful blue purple duochrome, and it just pairs so nicely with the mattes in this palette. So if you've been eyeing this, I think this is limited edition. I don't know if this is on her website anymore, but if you ever see it in stock and you want some really beautiful, colorful, deep matte shades, I would recommend picking this up. And then in 3rd place is another favorite Unearthly palette. This is the Fall Magic palette. I can't remember, did I rank this as my #1 Unearthly palette? No, this was #2. #1 was the Witching Hour palette. Again, another brand that I did a full ranking video of all of my palettes from Unearthly, because Unearthly also has good sales. She restocks things randomly, so I wanted to create that as a reference in case you guys are eyeing any of these palettes. But this one is in 3rd place over some of the other palettes in this video because it also has mattes. But I mean, the metallics are gorgeous. The mattes are so stunning. You can create such a beautiful fall eyeshadow look with that palette. In 2nd place is another favorite indie brand of mine, the It's Belle Donna Fall palette. Now, I was considering ranking this in #3 and Fall Magic in #2, but I did end up switching because this does have gorgeous metallics, and I feel like, you know, we do have a lot of the key mattes that we need in our collection. Like me, for example, I have the Blend Bunny palette, so I don't really feel the need to have more matte shadows in a palette. So that's why I went ahead and gave this one the #2 spot, because I can pull mattes from any other palettes and then just use these to create the most beautiful eye look. So yeah, I really love this palette. I don't think it's in stock right now, but again, make sure you're following me on social media because I will post anytime they restock something. And then in 1st place is a beautiful palette. This is the Adept Amulet New palette. I did buy this one with my own money, and the reason I gave this the #1 spot is because it has some really interesting metallic shades, but it also has the matte, so it's a standalone palette, which is so nice, because maybe you don't have an all matte palette, or maybe you want to have just one really interesting eyeshadow palette in your collection. So I feel like this is kind of the best of both worlds, because it has beautiful, interesting metallics, but it also has beautiful matte shades that pair really well with them. I really like this palette. I love Adept Cosmetics. I do have a discount code with them as well in case you're interested. And I do believe this palette is in stock. I saw them post about it and I shared it on my Instagram as well. So hopefully you were able to get your hands on this. I have seen Adept teasing some new palettes, so I'm just over here just waiting. I did pick up the new Plain Jane Remastered palette. I saw my friend Heather's video on it, and she said that she thought it was worth picking up. And you guys know I trust Heather's taste in makeup, so of course, I grabbed it. I can't wait to get it. Once I get it, I'll definitely be filming a video for you guys. So that is it. That is all of my December eyeshadow palettes ranked. I'm just showing you guys all the beautiful swatches I'm covered in. It just makes me so happy to sit here and talk about eyeshadow palettes. So I'm sorry this video was a little bit late. Hopefully it was still interesting. I will have my January rankings video coming much sooner. I'll probably film it in the next few days, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will link my ranking playlist for you guys if you are curious to see all of the palettes ranked throughout the year of 2021. Let me know your favorite eyeshadow palette of December 2021 down in the comments. I love chatting to you there, and I will see you in a new video very soon. Bye guys!